Hey guys.
Hey.
Sorry we're running a little late today. Got caught up watching Matt Mercer's Fireside Chat. And then when I went to go and say, oh, we're ready to go, realized I hadn't updated our dashboard. So I had to quickly do that and then had to squash sound issues elsewhere. But
we're here.
We are here.
And we're here to talk about episode 29.
Yep.
The Stalking Nightmare?
Stalking Nightmare. Yep.
That's right.
The Gen Con live show.
Yep. Where the Oni was revealed.
Yep. Finally, 100% confirmation as opposed to the
99.9.
Yeah. Now, speaking of things we got right and wrong, one of the things we kind of got wrong was the bard didn't really whammy them.
No, yeah.
I was surprised. Especially in the, I don't know if Matt had planned to whammy them, but when they tripped that cage, that was the time to do that.
Yeah.
Suggestion, charm person, or any of those control spells. Okay, whammy you. Now you're going to kill all your friends.
Yep.
That are stuck in there with you while your other friends watch.
Yep. Yeah, that would have been the time to do it.
Yeah.
But but a couple things we did see that I really liked. We kind of got to see the Grave Domain on display with some of its specials.
Yeah.
The ability to spare the dying from a 30-foot range as a bonus action.
Yeah.
And then she's at 0, so I just maximized the dice. I don't have to roll. She's just up.
That was...
And I can't wait till he hits 6th level, because at 6th level, his wisdom modifier number of times a day, so 5, he can turn a critical hit within 30 feet of him into a regular hit. So Matt's going to crit, and he's going to be like,
wow.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, that's going to be huge.
That's going to be huge, because he's got that 5 modifier on wisdom. And that's what the Grave Domain gets at 6th level.
Did Taliesin choose Grave Domain specifically for that feature? So that when Matt crits them
with the golden
snitch, he can mitigate a little bit.
I think that feature was the gravy. I think he was looking at the spare the dying and the mass, the good healing.
Yeah.
And we saw him pull one of your favorite cleric spells, Spiritual Guardians.
Yes. Yeah. That was one thing I was going to talk about. I think that's my most favorite cleric spell.
Yeah.
Just because it's a lot of damage, it's constant, and you control movement.
It's a great battlefield control.
Yeah,
action economy equalizer, all that.
Yeah, because in theory, what you could do is cast Spiritual Guardians and then cast Sanctuary on yourself.
Yeah.
Because Sanctuary isn't concentration, and so long as you don't attack or cast another offensive spell, you don't break Sanctuary. So now, if they're going to be close to you, they have disadvantage. They have to make the Wisdom save to attack you.
Right.
They're taking damage.
Right.
And they can't run away because of the difficult terrain.
Yep.
So, yeah, it's so good. It's so good. And when they have Yasha and Ford on the front line, with Caduceus right behind them, so the enemies are within that
15 foot.
They're just gonna murder stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, that'll be a thing.
It's gonna be so nice. So I was a little worried that the live show wouldn't progress fast enough.
Okay.
If that makes... I don't know if I'm saying it. I didn't know if the presence of the live audience would...
stall the...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the first live show, there was a little bit of that.
Yeah.
And it made me think of the observer effect in quantum mechanics, where, the show's going to happen, they're going to play the characters, but and we all observe them in the studio.
Right.
But having the audience there produces an effect that is absent when it's just their crew around, who are trained professionals who are doing a job. Yeah. They're there to do a job. They're not there to watch and give feedback.
Other than Danny.
Yeah. So I was a little concerned about that. And other than Sam's costume,
which was amazing, in my opinion.
I don't know. Yeah, that might be the right word. But he does seem to pick costumes that are not comfortable.
Yeah.
And in those rollerblades, he's a real giant.
Yeah.
He was towering over everybody.
Yeah.
But yeah. Shikasta was a cool surprise.
Yeah, that was neat. I know we said back when he first appeared that we would definitely see him again. He was one we could see coming back.
Yeah.
And he did, but it was nice that, and Matt was just talking in the fireside chat that he was talking with them and they worked it out to where he could make it there, and they kept it hush-hush and a surprise. He was hiding from everyone all day at Gen Con.
Yeah. And see, I'm not knowing his schedule or the events of Gen Con, because I'm not going, I'm not going to research it. I was, when he first started foreshadowing him coming on stage, I was like, well, I guess if he's at the convention, that would make sense.
Right, but he wasn't.
He wasn't.
He was like, he flew home, flew to Indianapolis just to be on the live show.
Yeah.
Which was great. And of course, Ashley, always amazing. Keg.
Speculation time in regards to that.
Okay. We're talking about the one night keg stand?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. In theory, they have rescued Yasha.
Yeah.
In theory, that event is going to happen in view of, in knowledge of Yasha.
Okay.
Does that poison that well?
Unless they're polyamory. It depends on how jealous they are.
Tumblr is going to take that all the way anyway.
Right.
It's probably already written.
I mean, it's a friend for each hand,
Yeah. So that was the one thing that came to mind, and that wasn't even during the episode. That was after. That was after it sort of settled on me. I was like, wait a minute, they just rescued them. I wonder how Yasha will take that. Because Yasha strikes me as the kind of person who doesn't let people in.
Yeah, I think what I think is going to happen is it might stave off the eventual romance between Bo and Yasha, but it won't squash it.
I can see that.
So
it creates the bones, will they, won't they?
Yeah.
Dynamic. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's now a reason for that.
It's one of those where the two characters have the sexual tension, and it's not really going anywhere. So one of them finds someone, and it just staves it off for an extra season.
Yeah.
An extra arc.
Another 30 episodes.
It's which one of those things? It's still going to happen, though.
Because technically, on a TV schedule basis, we are 3 episodes into a new season. If you go off of a 26 episode model.
Yeah.
So that will be. So that's an interesting way to look at it. And I think So today on my lunch break, I was rewatching Matt Colville's climax video of Campaign 1.
Okay.
And that was episode 114.
Okay.
That they fought Vecna. This Thursday will be episode 30.
Yeah.
They are 2 levels in sight of when they started the stream.
Right.
So we are now officially, I would say, almost at least 25% done with this campaign.
Okay. I mean, assuming that it's the same number of episodes per campaign.
Yeah.
And then accounting for the off-stream time.
Yeah.
Pre-stream.
So, something to think about in terms of what needs to be revealed, when and where it's going to have to be done. Matt tonight was creating a Tortle Bard.
Yes. Which Tortle and Bard were the only 2 things that were not what I voted in the thing. So I was pretty excited.
And I think that's a Menagerie Coast NPC.
I think that's very well a possibility. He did say there's a couple spots. So.
Yeah. And I think a tattoo artist.
Yeah.
Sea creature.
Yeah. No, I mean I can see it in the Menagerie Coast. I think that's the obvious choice.
And folk hero. So what if he's what
if he's known in the same circles that Jester's known in?
Yeah.
Could be.
Or Kari.
Yeah. Well, Ford's also from the Menagerie Coast.
Yeah.
So.
And maybe
there's a few different people this bard could be tied to.
Yeah, an arcane. I mean, we're getting out of the episode that we were here to talk about, but it is what we just is fresh on the mind.
Yep.
But it might have something to do with Ford.
Yeah.
More than Jester.
Yeah. I mean, missing an eye, that's his pirate to me.
Yeah.
And I still think he might be the pirate.
Yeah. So, yeah. I think that's probably where we're going to see him. So, back to the Gen Con show.
Yes.
Caleb, I don't want to say wasted all that time. He certainly wasted haste. Casting it on Keg when he did.
Yeah.
And
I think they were expecting the combat to come sooner when he did.
I don't think... Well, I think that was an in-character decision, of course.
Right.
But, like... If he was going to be upstairs, he would have come down with the barbarian.
Yeah.
Is sort of how I parse that. And the timing wise, the last time they were there 6 hours earlier, he was going upstairs to presumably start a rest, take a rest.
Right.
But so it was prudent, I guess, to double check that he wasn't there, but to do the recon of the whole floor.
Well, if he didn't do that, we wouldn't know about the Huey, Dewey, Louie bed set.
Yeah, I guess that's true. But and they wouldn't have had an early warning of the other 2 guards. So
right.
So yeah, I don't know if it was necessarily a waste, but it was certainly indicative of his desire to be thorough, and meticulous in how he does things. I don't know. I think to move things along, also, Matt on their duration spells cut them off.
Yeah. I kind of noticed that.
Because both for Shakosta's spiritual weapon and the insects that...
the insect swarm.
That Caduceus summoned. He basically cut those off way early in my mind.
Yeah. Because I was picturing them going through an initiative order still.
Yeah.
So I'm like, it's only been a few seconds.
Yeah. It doesn't take them that long to run around the corner.
But
now, would it have made a difference? Probably not.
I don't think so.
That trap would have delayed them enough, probably.
Yeah.
And done damage enough that, or could have done damage enough that they had to check for concentration. Could have lost it. Many things could have happened.
Right.
So, cutting them off the duration, okay. And the players didn't argue too much.
Right.
They were just kind of like, oh, okay.
Well, and then part of it, it could have been, they were going in initiative order because things were going on.
Yeah.
But it may have been out of initiative.
That's true.
And I could see that with trying to get through the room.
Yeah.
And unlock the room.
Yeah.
Being out of initiative and actually taking...
And opening the gate for the guy before they go through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Initially, I thought, oh, whoa, that's way early. And then when I thought back and on my rewatch, I was like, okay, no, that's when they were out of initiative. He was just going in initiative order because he's got 6 players. Yeah. He's trying to keep things organized.
Thing to do, yeah. Yeah, I think each of the characters had a moment. Well, I was about to say that each of them had a moment to shine, but I thought of a counterexample against that as I was about to say it. Because Caleb, I don't know if he did. I mean, arguably he didn't. He spent most of the episode invisible.
Right.
Or scouting. Like, he propped the door open.
I mean, he may not have shined, per se, but, I mean, we definitely saw growth in him.
Yeah.
I mean, going through, doing all the stuff, he, succeeded another, will save when he burned somebody.
Yeah.
But then seeing him fight with the coward and courageous kind of dilemma he has, and I'm headed up. You know what? I got to come back down and help him out and take a shot.
What was really great was when Caduceus used mass heal, and Caleb wasn't there.
Yeah,
even though he had spent the last 2 rounds. My healer will heal me.
I'm sure the cleric will get to me at some point. There's 2 of them after all.
Yeah, that was good. And I mean, poor Shakosta whiffing all night.
Yeah,
with that spiritual weapon.
Nefertiti.
Yeah,
Mrs. TD.
Yeah. But I thought it was it seemed that Matt and he talked about why Shakosta was there. Yeah. And I kind of wish there had been a moment where they talked about that.
Yeah. And I think why they didn't, because of where they found him. oh, these people are getting away. We just need to get going. You know, they didn't really have time to breathe and be like,
yeah. Well, I mean, what are you doing here? I mean, he said, "I'm on vacation. I'm here on vacation," which is glib, but
right.
I would have preferred an A to B. Although when he left them in that episode, like we said, we're going to see him again, and because he's a wandering sort of a personality,
right,
he can crop up anywhere.
Yeah.
Whereas if we're ever going to see Neela again, they've got to
come back because she's either going to be with her tribe or watching the cemetery for Clay for Caduceus.
Yeah. Or something big is going to be happening, and she had to go and find them.
Yeah.
For when the campaign eventually turns to, it needs to go back north again.
Yeah.
Which I think is probably what's going to happen. I think the climax is going to be north, or in Jorhas.
Well, at the very least, they're going to go back north to deal with Trent.
Well, that'd be, or is the capital north of that?
I believe so. North is the dash anyway.
Oh yeah, north is the dash. Well, northeast, if memory serves.
Yeah.
And they went northwest.
Yeah.
To go here. But yeah. Trying to think what else we called. You called it being another sub basement.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know if he bothered to do that. But he did.
I thought there was. It just didn't feel like
space.
Yeah, it didn't feel like enough room for the final fight. Looking at the squares, I was like,
yeah,
they're gonna go down.
That's true. But I mean, well, the thing is though, in a small space like that, where you've got a monster with reach
and cone of cold.
Yeah, that was. So when I was watching the episode, and Shikasta used command, I tell him to freeze. I was like, that is the wrong word. That is so the wrong word to use. And Matt basically was like, what? He's like, well, you have a few options. Because I think Matt, like if he had failed the save, I think that's what Matt was going to do.
I don't think so.
He was just going to trigger cone.
I think Matt was taking it as these are the only ones that you can actually use. That's how I took it.
See, well, and maybe he was, but Matt, to me, seems more the GM who will work with their players.
Yeah.
And
I mean, that would have been great if he had done that. And it would have been better, too, because they weren't as packed together as they did. Because as soon as they started, I was like,
well, it was the next round.
Yeah.
He moved, and everyone was there. And he was like...
Well, but they all combined together in that round. And I was like, do you not remember the cone of cold?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, he's got it once a day. We know he's an Oni already for sure.
Yeah. And luckily, Caleb had gotten himself out.
Yeah. Barely, but yeah. Yeah, because that was 44-22 on a successful save.
Yeah, and he'd already taken...
He was in the teens, I think. I think it was like 11 or 12.
30 or 40 something damage at that point, right?
He'd taken less than that. Because I think he was right around 11 or 12, and he's only got like 34 hit points.
Okay. Also, it was 20 or 30. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would have... And, like, what was interesting to me from a sort of role-playing standpoint in that encounter is as soon as Caleb made himself visible, he went after him. Lorenzo went after him.
Go after the spellcasters.
Yeah. Which I thought, I was like, oh, that's cool. Because, I think him I think he wants to... I think his strategy going in, and this gets back to my argument that combat is roleplay.
Right.
Lorenzo's strategy in any combat is to take out the weakest person and lord it over every surviving member. Yeah. And then start dropping the next lowest person and the next lowest.
Yeah, because when you take someone out, it's a demoralizing effect on the rest of the combatants.
Yeah. And from a mechanics standpoint, the action economy shifts as they start to drop.
Yeah.
Which is why the argument that the best cleric isn't the cleric that heals everybody, it's the cleric that does more damage. Because the damage you deal prevents damage coming in.
Right.
And now, Jester will get to be that cleric. Because they have Caduceus.
Yep.
And I kind of want to see Taliesin not heal anyone until they drop to 0. Because in a mechanical sense, he will always get the best bang for his buck if he does that.
That's true. Well, and in a roleplay sense, he is Grave Domain, which means he's standing over that threshold right there. So that would, I'm not necessarily for that because in my brain, that's kind of using it in playing the mechanics more than the story, because it's like, you don't know that, they're going to drop and then I can heal more.
Yeah, well, I mean so in this, the only caveat to that choice that I would make if I was playing a Grave Domain cleric is positioning.
Yeah.
If that person dropping puts them in greater danger, then you heal them while they're still standing.
Yeah.
Or if them dropping gives advantage to the enemy. So if they're blocking a doorway so that the rest of the party can be doing something else, then they have to stay up. They don't go down.
It would be a great combo with a Grave Domain acting like that is a Hexblade with the I say Hexblade because they're the more melee type warlock, but Pact of the Chain and then the Gift of the Ever-Living Ones. And as long as your familiar's within 100 feet of you, all dice rolls are maximized to heal you.
Yeah.
So, I need to heal him. Okay, I can still get the big bang for my buck.
Yeah, that's certainly a way around it.
And then if you do drop, I still get the biggest bang for my buck.
And the nice thing about a familiar Pact of the Chain is you can send your familiar 60, 100 feet away.
Right.
And cast your touch spell through the familiar.
Yep. And you get a hardier familiars because you can have an imp, you can have a pseudo dragon, a quace, a sprite.
Yeah. So that is a good combo. I also like the sorcerer for a healer because you can twin spell.
Yeah, the divine soul.
Not even necessarily divine soul, though that makes the most sense, and it gives you a daily pool of healing that's not
spell related.
Yeah. So in that aspect, but yeah, it's great being able to just walk up. If they had a divine soul sorcerer, go up, boom, touch, forward, and bow, cast Cure Wounds.
Mm-hmm.
He's healed both of them for one spell slot.
Yeah.
So that's an idea I've been playing with. But yeah.
And then he can bonus action heal Yasha from, I think 60 feet away. I know that's what it is for the Celestial Warlock. As a bonus action with the pool of D6s.
Yeah.
So action heal 2 of the front line, bonus action heal the 3rd front line.
Yeah.
If he goes down for being that close, you've got the Grave Domain behind him, dropping him, bringing him back up.
Yeah. So
it's a heal train.
It is. We also got to not remarked on how Caduceus is very mellow.
Yeah.
The line was, "You're like a walking quaalude."
Yes, I love that line. And we also saw Sam's reaction. Wait, you can do all this? Why haven't you been playing this character though? You can dispel magic? You can heal people from the distance?
Turn invisible?
What the hell, dude?
So, on a lot of fronts, they have gotten to know Caduceus way faster than they got to know Molly.
Yeah.
And I don't know, from Talison's point of view, if Caduceus came together quickly for him in his mind, or what, but when he came on the scene with him 2 episodes ago, and now in this episode, more reinforcement happening.
Yeah.
To me, he feels more fleshed out than Molly was.
Okay.
And I don't know. I can't say exactly why that is, but to me, that's just my feeling.
Gotcha.
I much prefer his performance as Caduceus than as Molly. And I think it's going to be a hilarious dynamic when everyone comes back and you have Jester's sort of almost manic energy that she can have.
Yeah.
Contrasting with Caduceus.
Yeah.
Just sort of, hey man, chill. So that's one of the things that I look forward to, is the interaction between them two.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what other dynamic.
I'm kind of interested to see how Ford's going to react to him.
Yeah, and that's why I went kind of quiet there. I was thinking, where is Ford going to be in on that? And I think I have a feeling he might be suspicious.
I think he's going to be very suspicious.
Which will be...
I mean, because, there's a lot of different personalities and energies in the Mighty Nine, but they're all kind of shades or gradients of the same energy. You know, they're all kind of just like...
We're assholes. We might do something good.
Right. Just kind of that shady.
Yeah.
And now there's this dude just like, hey man, I'm open. It's cool. Here, have some tea. And it's gonna, it's the one that stands out. It's like they say, in a group of liars, the one who's honest is the most suspicious.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true, yeah. Plus, I think Ford is worried that he is corrupted by something.
Yeah.
And Caduceus is essentially on a mission to wipe out corruption.
Yeah.
So I think there may be... he may internalize that
So that's going to go one of two ways. That's either going to add to the suspicion and distrust, or that's going to be a bonding moment where he's like, hey, help me figure this out.
Yeah.
And kind of goes in with him, and, the two of them meditating.
Yeah. I really want to know what happened to the three of them. Because that's going to change a lot of things.
Yeah.
And
that's the other thing that's going to be interesting, is how have they changed? How have their personalities changed with what they just went through, whatever it was?
Well, I don't know if necessarily the 3 days of torture is going to super break them. I don't know if they've been with Lorenzo long enough.
Over a period of time, no, but in the here and now, yes.
I think what will mess them up more
is finding out about Molly.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. But especially after going through that.
Were they conscious during that? Because that's the other thing we don't know.
Yeah.
Were they awake?
Were they in that? Did they hear that?
Cabin.
Yeah.
Or, not cabin, the last cart.
Yeah.
That's what I desperately want to know. Is where in the carts they were, if they were awake, and
if they heard,
and how it will affect mainly Ford and Caleb's relationship.
Yeah.
Because of all of them, theirs have been the most contentious.
Yeah.
I mean, people joke about Bo and Caleb, but really there's not a whole lot of contention between them.
No, there's been arguments, but there's never been weapons pulled.
Yeah. And she's manhandled him a little bit.
Right, but who doesn't like that?
But even Molly did that to Caleb.
Right.
So I think that's the one, and even from Caleb's own mouth, Ford is the one that he has the least amount of reason to go help.
Yeah. Yeah, he definitely still has, that butthurt grudge from that instance.
Yeah.
And we know that Travis has no intention of apologizing. He doesn't feel Ford doesn't feel there's a need to. So there's still that rift between them.
He might, after this. He might not feel a need to, in the sense that he doesn't think what he did was wrong.
Right.
But in the sense of thanking somebody for risking their life, getting you out of hell.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, as a way of saying thank you. Hey, I'm sorry I pulled my sword on you.
I can see that. I don't think he's going to do it. I think he's going to treat him differently.
Yeah.
He's going to... I think that's going to affect his opinion of him going forward. And we're not going to see that suspicion as much. Because there's also something about someone saving your life that makes you kind of trust them.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true.
I think it's gonna go more that direction. I don't think we're gonna see the apology.
Okay.
At least not very quickly.
So something occurred to me today.
Okay.
Caleb bought 30 or 40 gold worth, like 3 or 4 changes that he could make to Frumpkin.
Okay.
If he had instead bought materials to transcribe spells, he could have transcribed invisibility into his book.
True.
But, like, for me, I think so I say Caleb didn't do a whole lot in the episode, in the sense that he didn't have a moment to shine, but I think my favorite moment of the episode was actually a Caleb moment.
Okay.
And that was when he made the decision to use the spell.
Yeah. He had guarded it so closely, wanting to get it into the book, and then he decided to use it for the betterment of the group. Yeah.
And more importantly, he went for a short-term benefit over his long-term goals.
Yeah.
Which I think is a huge, not really core to Caleb, but it's very important, I think, in the way that he operates.
Yeah. Well, he's definitely that lawful meticulous.
Yeah.
Very patterned type person.
And wanting to at least examine every angle before going into something. So it will be interesting to see how that plays out going forward. And if he has any regrets over it. What I thought was interesting, though, is not being happy he cast it.
Yeah. Which also kind of goes in the face of her long-term goals. To a degree.
To a degree, yeah. I mean, it would have been useful for him to have the spell in his spellbook so that he could cast it on Nod or whoever anytime in the future. But I think Nod sees that as Caleb treating himself, if that makes sense.
Okay, yeah.
This was given to them as a thank you for the use of that, for his actions with the bowl.
Right.
And he used it in the moment instead of holding off on it. And he was very judicious in what he did and didn't do.
Right.
While invisible. I think this is probably the longest any character has been invisible and in combat that they didn't reveal themselves.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
I think at most in campaign 1 it might have been 3 rounds. And that was just because, if memory serves, it was a movement problem.
Yeah.
Or positioning. And I think that was when they were in Craghammer, and Scanlan was like 3 rooms away when he shit on the bed.
Yeah.
And they got in a fight in the throne room, basically, and he had to move.
Yeah. As fast as his gnome legs would carry him.
Yeah. But yeah, that whole fight that they were with the 2 Blackies, he was invisible.
Yeah.
The first...
Even a few rounds into Lorenzo's appearance.
Yeah, I think it was the second round, his second turn. His second or third turn when he finally cast and revealed himself.
Yep. And what did he get for it? A glaive.
Yeah. So Alex was watching it when he was in California, and he was messaging me when he rolled damage for that crit with the Scorching Ray. He's like, there's I think he said a 1.8% chance that that's the damage that he rolled because it was so low. And I was like, well, he probably didn't roll all 8d6 because they roll the dice and then double whatever the dice roll.
Yeah. Which
vastly lowers
your
crit damage. So he's like, oh, well, that makes it much more possible. But it was just kind of sad that he made the observation. He's like, yeah, he should have done way more damage.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, yeah, what are you gonna do? What do you think Cake does? And do we know? Are we going to learn?
You mean from this point forward?
Yeah.
I think she's going to leave Shady Creek Run for a while.
You think so?
You just helped murder a slaver group in a city where one of the ruling families backs them.
I think she goes and works with Mardoon.
Okay. She may do both. She may take a job that takes her out of the city for a while.
She travels with the Mighty Nine down to Sadash to be her representative to the gentleman.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. Which makes her close by if Ashley needs or wants to
reappear.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think, and I heard something about people are like, oh, are they going to make the Sour Nest their home now that they've got this fort and they've cleared it out? And no. 1, it's too remote. 2, at this point, they don't have the funds to hire people to watch it while they're out adventuring, so it's just going to be taken over and they're going to have to clear it out again every time.
And that family still technically owns it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's not.
That was my third point. People are going to come back looking for vengeance.
Yeah. No, you leave.
you leave. And you leave relatively quickly.
Yeah. So yeah, I think we have Shikasta going off into the sunset again.
Yep.
I think Keg stays in Shady Creek Run. I think.
What if Keg goes with Shikasta? Helps him out for a while.
Yeah, maybe.
And that would give her an excuse to pop up anywhere. Oh, I was with him doing this, and we decided to part ways. I was going to go do my own thing.
Yeah, and it would certainly would create an interesting back narrative for a lot of the stuff that could be happening outside.
Well, yeah, and I mean, She did mention an attraction to Shikasta.
Yeah, that's true.
So there's that whole angle too.
So we speculated that this trip and this job that they were doing for the gentleman would be something that soured them on the gentleman. And
we haven't seen it fully yet.
I still think that's the case?
Okay, here's why I say yet. I don't necessarily think that's the case, but I think it's still a possibility.
Okay.
Because when they report back to him, what's going to happen?
Yeah.
How is he going to react?
They still don't know what that profitable business that the slave group took from them was.
Well, and even if it wasn't slavery, I'm not above thinking that the gentleman is getting slaves from Lorenzo.
No, that's true.
I don't think he would have any qualms being like, yeah, you hate Ophelia, but you and I can do business. I need slaves. She's not willing to get them. She's got this other business.
Yeah.
And if he gets irate that all of a sudden Lorenzo is dead, and they pick up on it, I don't think it's going to end up being what's out. I don't think that necessarily this mission, I think how the gentleman reacts to this mission is going to what starts seeding them.
Okay. I just had an idea.
Okay.
Is the business that she had with the gentleman bringing in creatures for the arena in Zadash?
It could be. I could see that.
Because we speculated that he was the one, the creatures that were in that they kept walking neck by.
Yeah,
were the creatures for the arena.
I'm sure that that's the thing.
Yeah.
Like we said, no one sees them coming in or out. That's the perfect way to do it. And and that could be. I mean, it could be that the Iron Shepherds took that, animal wrangling in addition to slavery. Yeah. They already had the inn because of the slavery. They beat Ophelia's price, and that's what they stole. Because remember, the gentleman didn't know why Ophelia hadn't been in contact. He just said she fell silent. I need you to go up and see what's going on.
Right, yeah.
Maybe she found out, he's using these guys now. These are my enemies. I'm pissed at the dude.
So she asked him for help.
No.
Well, because she did ask for help.
Yeah.
And he sent them up there because she requested help.
But she's been silent. She hadn't contacted them.
Yeah.
And, that's why she wanted them specifically taken out. Because they're the ones that stole her business, adding the...
Okay, there's also a possibility that we're wrong.
Of course.
And Matt's whole theme for the campaign, well, it's not necessarily that we're wrong, but the divide between law and chaos, order and chaos.
Okay.
That the gentleman, like the Empire, reflects order.
Right.
Shady Creek Run, reputationally, is the center of chaos.
Okay.
The Empire has been trying to get in up there for ages.
Yeah.
What if the Empire is bankrolling the gentleman's efforts to create a queen of Shady Creek Run that will secure it and become a client king or queen?
That could be. I could see that. I'll put that up there as a possibility. Yeah.
Which makes their return to Zadash interesting in a different way, because it may be like Matt dangled that huge hook in front of them of the big gold purse to go get the deserter to work for the Empire. They didn't take it.
Right.
We'll see if the gentleman has another job for them that takes them to the Menagerie Coast.
Right.
Because I think that is the next stop.
Yeah.
And I think that's where we're gonna see more of the Betrayer God's activity, because that's where Kari was from.
Right.
And I think that's going to play into the eventual rising of the Tarask, if we're right.
Okay.
And I think that's... we got a couple more minutes.
Got a couple more minutes. Okay. Next session. You have anything you want to call?
I don't know if I do. Not specifically. I think we start the journey back to Sadash.
Yes.
I don't know if that happens early in the episode. I don't know if that happens at the end, because a large part of it depends on the interaction that they're going to have with Ford, Yasha, and Jester, and then Marjorie.
Yeah. I say that they're going to stop at the grave, and the coat's going to be gone.
Yes and yes.
And they're going to go wild, and Nott will be the first one to say, oh, he's up, he's somewhere.
Does Matt disinter the body?
I want to say yes.
And I also want to say yes.
I think yes, and I think that there's a split. I think like Nott and Jester,
they think he's out there,
are thinking he rose again because he's done this, you know?
Yeah.
It's been 3 days, whatever.
Well, if he did, he would have found us. We left the note.
I think Caleb, Bo, Ford will take, no, someone grave robbed it.
Yeah.
And we'll see kind of, not really an argument, but just kind of the...
Well, it also depends on their investigation rolls.
Yeah. Which if they investigate like they did when the 3 went missing, it's just going to be wild speculations.
Yeah. For sure.
I think that's going to happen. I think they're going to start heading back. And I think before we get back to Sadash, and I'm going to put this out there as, I'm going to go 50-50, and I know either it won't well or it won't is kind of a cop-out on one sense, but also, hey, 50% whether you think it's going to happen, but there's a chance it's not, you know?
Yeah.
I think we're going to see that orc again. The one that we think is Ford's dad.
Possibly. It depends. Well, see, if anyone mentioned to Ford that it's an orc,
right,
then we will.
Yes.
If not, I don't think we will.
Okay. Well, there's
what
only one person that knows it was an orc at this point.
Yeah.
And that's Yasha.
No, I thought Jester knew.
It was Ford, Yasha, and Molly that went up.
That's right.
And Molly ain't saying anything at this point.
No. One thing I don't think we see is Kiri.
No.
I think they will look for her, and the family's going to be gone.
You think they're going to go to Upper Duke on their way back?
Well, they kind of have to.
Okay.
Well, no, that's not true, because they did talk about going to the capital.
Because they went out to there, and then they were going to come back through the capital. But and I could be 100% wrong, okay, because I don't have detailed knowledge of the Wild Mount map at this point.
Yeah. But
I'm pretty sure that when they went up, they saw the cabin, and then they went up to Hupperduke. When they come back, it's going to bring them around the other side to the cabin again for the orc.
Yeah, well, the cabin, yeah. Whether they go to the capital or not, or Hopperduke, they have to go by that cabin because that was the second or third day out from Zadash. So yeah, they will be passing it again. It's just, I don't think we see him again. But I had forgotten that they had planned to go to the Capitol.
Yeah.
I don't know if they keep those plans.
I don't know if they do either. Well, right now, I don't think... I think...
And
because they're kind of on a time constraint to get back to the gentlemen with the completed jobs. With
Jester, they can send descending.
That's true. Okay, yeah.
The only thing they have to get back for is to get their money.
That's true.
So it depends on how quickly they want it.
Right.
But here's another reason why I don't think they go to the Capitol. Caleb will spend every ounce of his political capital that he's earned on this rescue mission to ensure that they don't.
Okay.
Because he doesn't want to be anywhere near Trent. Right now.
That's true.
And he was not pleased at the prospect of them going, especially because Yasha wanted to talk to him.
Yeah.
So anything he can do to steer them away from that, to keep them away out of Trent's vision, out of his notice, that's what he's going to be doing.
Okay.
So yeah, I think we see them hightail it back, and I think after losing Molly, they will want to stop off and double check Kiri, and they will be gone.
Yeah, I think Jester will make a point of that.
And then it's going to be either they try to track down where Kiri went, or they accept that Kiri's with that family and they picked up and left because they didn't want to get hassled by the cops for false worship. Or maybe they ask for passage to Zadash.
Perhaps.
To get them out. So
we'll see. It's time for talks, though.
It is. What do you guys think? Let us know, and we will see you next week.
Bye, guys.